What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome to the predictions video for the biggest party of the summer. That's right, it is SummerSlam 2017. We have a whopping 12 matches to predict in this video, and this show will be a whopping 6 hours long at the minimum. Because they said that same thing about WrestleMania, and that went over 6 hours. That ended super freaking late, so we'll see how they handle these 12 matches in this show. So without further ado, let's get down to our predictions, shall we? First and foremost, our kickoff show has 2 matches. Not only is it 2 matches, it is 2 championship matches, and the first of which being for the Cruiserweight Championship. We have Akira Tozawa, the power of Tozawa, who is your new Cruiserweight Champion as of Raw this past Monday, versus Neville. And can Akira Tozawa once again rise to the Neville level in this Cruiserweight bout on the kickoff show? And I think that they may have had the belt change hands because elsewhere in the evening the belts were not going to change hands enough. So they said, you know what, we're going to have at least one more title change on this show, so therefore we will have Neville win back that Cruiserweight title from Tozawa, even though he is part of Titus Brand Worldwide. And our second kickoff show championship match is for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and man, that one hurts. The best match on Backlash was those tag team titles, and that was the opening match. The rest of that card, so it's like, really? You're going to say, alright, you guys have amazing chemistry, amazing matches, guess what? You're on the kickoff. So I expect them to still steal the show. It is the New Day, your tag team champions, versus the Usos getting their rematch. And like I've said in just about every time that I've discussed the New Day in a tag team title situation, is they still have the numbers game. So unless the Usos take out the third member of the New Day backstage before the match happens, or unless they find a third Samoan somewhere, and not Joe and not Roman, a third Samoan somewhere to back them up, it will still be the New Day as your reigning, defending SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Now, hold on a minute, player. There is one more match on this kickoff show, and it is a tag team match. Holla holla. It will be The Miz Taraj versus Jason Jordan and the Hardy Boys. A Raw rematch. Another Raw rematch. And since that Raw match had the faces win, I think that the SummerSlam kickoff match will have the heels win, because otherwise, what are you doing? Anyway, back to the show. And that brings us to the main card, the main show, which is still an awful lot of matches. Now, here's a prediction. Will this show have pyro? It is one of your big 4 shows of the year. Every other show you've had in the past several months has had no pyro. If SummerSlam has no pyro, then I have no hope for WrestleMania having pyro. So, we'll see. Also, somewhere on this card, Goldust is supposed to unveil his biggest creation or something. Biggest unveil something. And I don't know what that's going to be. So, I don't even have a guess there. But Goldust will do something. Maybe. We'll see. It might get cut. You never know. Anyway, that trucks us right along to Suplex City. That trucks us right along to Finn Balor, the Demon Finn Balor, versus Bray Wyatt. And if you really think they're going to go through all the trouble to bring out the Demon, just because he had the strawberry jam poured on him on Raw, the red, viscous, acidic liquid, not blood, you guys, not blood, and they go through all the trouble of saying, yes, alright, we'll bring out the Demon for pay-per-view, for SummerSlam, and then have him lose to Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt, who's made a career of losing? No, that's Finn Balor all the way. Bray Wyatt is once again a road bump for somebody else to get themselves even higher, but honestly, at this point, is beating Bray Wyatt that much of an accomplishment? Like, seriously. At a certain point, he is the eater of pinfalls, and it's kind of not that big of a deal. Anyway, moving on to the match that I care the least about on this entire card. I mean, there are a couple, but the match I really care the least about on this card is The Big Show versus The Big Cass, with Enzo Amore in the shark cage, because they just have to sell more of those Mattel playsets. Please, buy our playsets. Keep using that dumb shark cage. And I say it's dumb for one reason. Normally, in wrestling, when you have somebody suspended in a shark cage, either, you know, up in the air or at ringside, or when you're enclosing someone to prevent them from interfering, that person is usually a heel. And obviously we have all these reports of Enzo Amore and his backstage shenanigans that are getting him into backstage trouble and heat. But to the fans, he's a face. Why put a face in a cage? That makes no sense. Anyway, the match is whatever. I don't care. F5 Roman Reigns. But I will say that we know, and we've heard for a while now, that the Big Show is done when his contract is up next year, before Mania. So no Big Show at Mania next year because Big Show is done. He is going to go to the end of his contract, ride it out, and then go home and then eat food. I don't know. But so yeah, on your way out, in wrestling, you put everyone over. You're looking at the lights. That's how it works. So Big Cass is their next big guy. One of their only big guys at this point because Big Show's done. Mark Henry's done. Kane is going to be a mayor or whatever. So, you know, Big Cass all the way. But also, don't care. Anyway, Roman, stop showboating. Moving on. We have a feud that has had very minimal build outside of RKOs out of nowhere, and that is Randy Orton versus Rusev. And this is one of those matches where my feelings on the match are the opposite of who's going to probably win the match. And that is to say, man, I want better for handsome Rusev. Bringing back Rusev from injury and having him fight John Cena and then losing to John Cena in a flag match was not doing him any favors. So here comes Randy Orton, right? And Randy Orton has been just losing and losing and losing versus the modern-day Maharaja, Jinder. So, got to get some heat back on Randy, I guess. And I guess they're going to have Randy Orton beat Rusev. But honestly, I want Rusev to win. I don't think he will win, but I want him to win. He is so freaking talented. And certainly Rusev has a lot more years in this business than Randy Orton does at this point in the game anyway. You would hope. Maybe not. Maybe not. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But yeah, Randy Orton goes over. Hopefully Rusev looks good, even though Randy's going to go over. Anyway, moving on here, we have a championship match for the SmackDown Women's title. It is Naomi, your champion, feeling the glow, versus Natalya, your challenger. And Natalya has been treading water in any division that she's been in for a long, long time. Certainly talented, certainly capable of having good matches, but I see no reason to take the belt off of Naomi just yet, as she has her custom belt that glows and has that cool entrance. And Brock Lesnar just tapped out to the oh my god moment to Samoa Joe. That's kind of crazy. So yes, I think that Naomi retains her title because I don't know what else you do with her at this point, outside of just continuing to fight other women in that division and whatever else. But then we'll just on to the next title match, which is Alexa Bliss, your Raw Women's Champion, versus the Boss, Sasha Banks, for the Raw Women's title. And this was a last-minute replacement because Bayley has a separated shoulder and cannot wrestle for at least a few weeks, if not a few months, depending on how her rehab goes. So, the build here is kind of non-existent because that wasn't the plan in the first place. They had to have a little tournament kind of deal with some triple threats and stuff, and so I don't know. I'd say because it's last minute that Alexa Bliss retains the title because I have not gotten much of anything from either competitor, and as we know, I think every time that Sasha has won the belt, it's always been on Raw and not on a pay-per-view when she was going back and forth with Charlotte there for a while. So, I don't know. Alexa Bliss retains. Whatever. Moving on. We have your Raw Tag Team Champions, who are not on the kickoff. They're on the main show because of their opponents. And it is Cesaro and Sheamus. Cesaro, or whatnot, your champions, versus the newly reformed tag team of Dean Ambrose and Seth freaking Rollins. And AJ Styles with a phenomenal moonsault. And this one's hard to call because, like, they've done enough build about how they're finally a unified force again on Raw. They did the fist bump thing, and that's all well and good, but Sheamus and Cesaro, another moonsault, wow. Sheamus and Cesaro, one good turn deserves another. Sheamus and Cesaro have been a dominant tag team here for a little bit, and they are definitely hitting on all cylinders as a tag team. And we haven't had Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins here in this championship opportunity as a tag team. So there might be some miscommunications. It might not gel. You know, it's been 3 years. It might not gel the way that it used to. And also, those guys were not the tag champs when they had the tag titles, because Dean Ambrose had the U.S. title, and Rollins and Roman were the tag champs. I'm pretty sure that was how that worked 3 years ago. So, that being said, I think that definitely there is a good opportunity for Cesaro and Sheamus to retain their tag team titles. So honestly, I'm not sure what you do with tag team champs of Dean Ambrose and Rollins. Like, who are they going to feud with? Who are they going to fight, like, that actually is even on that level outside of Cesaro and Sheamus in the tag team division? Like, I don't know. It's possible they could do it for like a month, but off the top of my head, I'm going to say that Cesaro and Sheamus retain. But if not, there could be things, if win the belts, then I have some other thoughts for, oh man, on the apron for later in the evening. Now then, John Cena, Baron Corbin. Who cares? Baron Corbin cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Therefore, Baron Corbin is a non-factor in the rest of SummerSlam. And John Cena has had a 4-year losing streak at SummerSlam. And Baron Corbin supposedly has a lot of heat backstage, which is why he lost his Money in the Bank briefcase in like 6 seconds. So, John Cena is going to John Cena. And he wins. Whatever. Who cares? But hey, if they actually believe in Baron Corbin and want to make him look good, then they'll do a thing with him. But honestly, John Cena is probably going to John Cena. Anyway, moving on, we have this match. The phenomenal AJ Styles, your U.S. champion, and Kevin Owens, who was the face of America for the U.S. title, and Shane McMahon is your special guest referee. This game does not allow me to put Shane as a referee because it's not in there. But trust me, Shane is the ref, and I am quite Oh, the hardest part of the ring. Sami Zayn here to interfere with his former friend Kevin Owens. Maybe, or is he on whose side is he on? He's on? Yeah, all right, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. He hates Owens. That makes sense. Anyway, this match is perhaps my biggest coin flip match of the evening because I just don't know. I just don't know what direction they're going to go in with this title, with this match. But I'd like to see AJ Styles retain the belt and actually bring back the U.S. Open Challenge on what? Finn Balor jumping brands, and Finn Balor in the corner of Kevin Owens. What is happening in this match? I don't even know anymore. But I'm going to call AJ to retain his title. And again, a lot of titles being retained here on this show because honestly, I don't see any real changes. And again, I could be wrong, but who knows? Now then, we move on to the WWE Championship. The modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, Hard Body Mahal, versus the artist, the rock star, the king of strong style, Shinsuke Nakamura, for the WWE title. And the factor here is much like the factor with the New Day. It's the numbers game. If you have the Singh Bros at ringside, then Shinsuke most likely loses this thing. But if somehow they take out the Singh Bros, or they have some kind of an advantage of them, or they get immediately ejected from the match, then it goes to Shinsuke. The fact that this match is happening at all feels like some weird alternate reality timeline that we're saying Jinder Mahal, who up until a few months ago was a jobber, and Shinsuke Nakamura, who, he was the guy. If you had told me 2 years ago this is going to be a match at SummerSlam for the WWE title, I would not have believed you. I would have been, nah, that's fantasy booking. You're crazy. But here we are. It's happening this Sunday. So I guess the question is, who takes it home, and will they put the belt on Shinsuke? I thought, honestly, that was a place you could get to at some point, because he's big money at some point. But whether or not they do it this soon is the question. Now, I've heard some conflicting reports about whether or not they're going to have a tour of India. And everyone's like, well, obviously they're going to leave the belt on Jinder because they're going on this tour of India. But I've seen nothing substantial about that is actually going to happen. We do know that Jinder will accompany a UFC guy to the ring in September. Now, whether or not they would want him to be there with the belt is a whole different scenario, right? So, you know what? I think that there's a very good chance that Brock will lose, and we'll get to that here in a second. So therefore, I think Jinder retains the belt with some outside interference from the Singh Bros, the usual shenanigans, and perhaps we get a rematch at the next SmackDown pay-per-view, and perhaps Shinsuke might win it there. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, your main event. This is a long video. Your main event. We have your champion, the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar, versus Roman Reigns, versus Braun Strowman, versus Samoa Joe. And that match is a fatal 4-way. And if Brock loses, Paul Heyman has promised that both Brock and Paul will leave the WWE. Now, there's been plenty of stuff going around about Brock going back to UFC. And perhaps that's supposed to seed doubt in this match. Perhaps that's supposed to make us assume that Brock will lose this match, right? But making that assumption means who of those three will win that match. Now, we've heard the dirt sheet saying that Paul Heyman is pushing backstage for Joe to win that match. We know that Roman Reigns was supposed to win this belt back at WrestleMania, with the current timeline, or perhaps that changed now. And the wild card, of course, the wild card is the monster among men, Braun Strowman. Now, back to what I was saying earlier, there is a bit of a chance, Kinshasa, there is a bit of a chance, however small it might be, for Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins to win those tag team championships and then interfere in the main event to help their buddy Roman Reigns win that title, and then you have the Shield back on Raw with Roman as champ, Seth as champ, Dean as champ. That is definitely within the realm of possibility. Now, would that get folks to cheer for Roman Reigns? Keeping in mind that Roman Reigns has been using the Shield music and attire even though he hasn't been in the Shield in 3 years. He kept all the cool stuff, whereas Seth and Dean did their own thing, right? I don't know. That seems to me like a last-ditch effort to get them to cheer Roman Reigns when people are just going to boo the crap out of Roman freaking Reigns. So, I'm going to go Joe. I think that hopefully Paul Heyman has enough sway. And we know that Brock Lesnar really enjoys working Joe, right? So when Brock returns, having not got pinned for the belt, that could definitely be a way to go with that. So, you know what? I think that Roman will have plenty more chances to win that title. Braun Strowman is way young and has plenty of more chances to win that title. Joe is getting up there in years. Give him a run. Even if it's short, give Joe a run with the belt. I'm pulling for Joe. Hopefully he takes it away and takes it home. Anyway, this has been a very long predictions video with a whole lot of matches run down. Thank you for watching. Middle rope Kinshasa. That should do it here for no, it's not over. Don't hinder Jinder. That should do it here. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos every day. And I'll see you next time. Right here on this channel. Told y'all. Don't hinder Jinder.